minimum 30 minutes. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm back after 2 weeks. Everything is a little bit rusty. My name is Bindi Bindi, and I have my co-host 007. Today we are back with another special guest to our escape from Seas, China. His nickname is kickXi. kickXi. Okay. Sorry for the delay. We had a little bit of technical issue, like I said, because I've been rusty. My computer is also rusty. I want to pass the time over to 007 to start the first question.
Welcome back, Bindi. Welcome to our special guest, Mr. kickXi.
Thank you. Thank you, you guys, for having me being here to spit a few words today. Okay, thank you.
Great. And so I'm going to start our first questions, kickXi. Before the enforcement of the national security law, Hong Kong still adhere common law, little government intervention, no foreign exchange restrictions, international financial center, exactly. So my first question is why Hong Kong become the first prey? Now why UK, United Kingdom has become the first choice for Hong Kongers to escape from Hong Kong, of course, from East China.
Okay, thank you, Seven. So again, thank you for inviting me to be here. So let me tell you guys a bit of my background. Actually, I was born and raised in Hong Kong and grew up in Hong Kong. So I studied in Hong Kong, I studied in US, I studied in UK too. I have experience, I have quite a lot of international exposure. So I used to work in China for a while. I used to own a small and medium-sized enterprise, about 200 headcounts in China. So a lot of China, Hong Kong, of course, and the international difference, okay? So today, I'm going to share a bit of my experience about how Hong Kong has changed, okay? As you mentioned, Seven, so after the enforcement of the national security law in Hong Kong, a lot of things has been changed. But taking the benefit at the high side, let me tell you a bit of background about Hong Kong. Hong Kong is used to be a colony of British UK, okay, as everybody aware. So before 1997 and after 1997, so China, Beijing has been underwent a lot of discussion about the future of Hong Kong, but eventually they have settled and they have agreed that China took over Hong Kong with a promise that for Hong Kong it's going to have 50 years unchanged. That means after 1997, Hong Kong can enjoy 50 years unchanged, a high degree of autonomy. Everything's still unchanged. We adopt common law. Hong Kong is still a financial center. No foreign exchange different. Everybody can exchange their foreign currency into other countries' foreign currency. You have freedom of speech, freedom of religious, which is unlikely and totally have a big difference with the China system. That's the reasons why a lot of Chinese people they dream. Okay, a lot of Chinese national and Chinese professional they dream to live in Hong Kong. They dream to work in Hong Kong because Hong Kong they can take advantage of the system, of the international system. Okay, so that's the reasons. Well, there are a lot of a huge amount of Chinese middle class and professional, and even a lot of rich people came over here. So they want to protect their wealth, because if they put their money still under the wall of China, they can't protect themselves. They have under a flag, okay, of every day, their wealth, their money, their personal wealth will be confiscated by the Chinese government. Okay, one day they'll be in jail. One day they will be, they will sacrifice everything. Okay, so that's a high risk of them being stay in China for a while. That's the reasons why they came to China. They came from China to Hong Kong. They can move their money. They can move their knowledge. They can move their family members to Hong Kong. They can settle in Hong Kong for at least for a while. Okay, Hong Kong is a great way to international market. Okay, once they settle down in Hong Kong, they can move their money freely from Hong Kong to the other country, such as the United States of America, such as the UK. Okay, so Hong Kong is always a stepping stone for this group of Chinese middle class, rich people, professional to settle down in Hong Kong. Okay, and then after 1997, at the beginning of 1997, still going quite well. Okay, Chinese people still cautious about how they act. They still attempt to stick to the one country, this two system policy. But after a while, after about 10 to 15 years, there's been a gradually changes. The Chinese government start to step to intervene Hong Kong internal policy gradually. But there's a dramatic change after the 2013 umbrella movement, particularly in 2019, what we call the extradition law, Wali. More than 1 to 2 million Hong Kong citizens came on the road of Hong Kong. They demonstrate they need democratic. They need their vote to vote for their own special administrative region chief executive. So given this situation, China make a big strategy change. They try to enforce and implement a new law called National Security Law. So the National Security Law is so broad and so vague, and no one knows what's the bottom line. So this jeopardizes a lot of people who are running political campaign, running journalists. Because they have a lot of things they hit, they overjump the red line, they overjump the bottom line. They didn't even know. So that's why so far from the implementation of the National Security Law, more than 250 people has been jailed and imprisoned. A lot of them have been sentenced to 5 years to 10 years. So that's the people's hear about the National Security Law. They're trying to escape in excel. There's a lot of examples now, such as the UK countries having because of this National Security Law, they have created a special visa. BNO visa. They welcome the Hong Kong citizen with a BNO visa. They can go to United Kingdom to stay, and leading to have a pathway for them to become citizen of UK. That's giving a lot of Hong Kong people at least a choice. They don't have to stay in Hong Kong for good. They have a choice to pick their own country. They have a choice to go for pursuing their freedom. And then Canada, Australia, they also implement their pathway to extend the visa, for example, extend the student visa to 5 years, and leading to have a pathway to become a permanent resident in Canada and Australia. And US also are discussing in the Congress, so that giving a special visa status for them to stay in United States at least a while. So because this new National Security Law, leading a lot of Hong Kong people are frustrated, leading a lot of people to have a strong sense of leaving Hong Kong as a hometown. So that's about the main reasons why Hong Kong people are escaping from Hong Kong.
Okay, thank you. Bindi, please.
I want to ask you, this is a little bit outside of what we have discussed. Because of the latest development in Taiwan, it has given a lot of hope as well to Hong Kongers. Do you feel the same of what has happened, Pelosi visiting Taiwan, and whether this actually gives you a lot of hope as well for Hong Kong?
I am very excited for the arrival of Nancy Pelosi in Taiwan. Since PRC, since Chinese governments have been threatening and intimidating U.S. intimidating. They will be shut down the Nancy Pelosi flag. Okay, but as of now, at least, okay, they just empty talk. They didn't take a very serious action unless some sanction or unless some flattening sentence by their foreign minister. So nothing has been really achieved so far. So that gives us a lot of wish and hope that, okay, so we may take a more aggressive actions, okay, to make Hong Kong, to bring Hong Kong a more democratic movement, to give Hong Kong more sentiment actions, okay. So I think this creates a lot of hope and wish from the eyes of the Hong Kong people, okay, because of the arrival of Nancy Pelosi in Taipei, okay.
Yeah. 007, you want to ask the next question?
Okay, cool. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Bindi. All right, my second question is, over the last, Hong Kongers have escaped China twice, and what people should be, alert about it. Thank you.
So can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, no, over on the past, there were 2 times that the Hong Kong people tried to escape Chinese restrictions. And during that, I think you have a lot of friends, they've been, since they possessed the particular sanctions, okay, as you said, interfered with the internal legality systems and administration. So, and the Hong Kongers being trying to escape China over the past together under CCP, there were 2 times, okay, Hong Kongers, okay, fly out of China. So, what advice, okay, why people are doing that? Can you share that?
Okay, I got you. Basically, there are two waves of immigration movement. One is before 1997. So a lot of people, more than 300,000 Hong Kong citizens migrate to Canada, Australia, US before the 1997. Because at that time, a lot of people are speculating the changing government after handover from UK to Chinese government. They speculated there won't be any future for Hong Kong after 1997. That's the first info. That's the first immigration wave. The second immigration wave is starting from 2019 after the implementation of the national security law. Now the people leaving Hong Kong is not under the speculation mindset. They actually has experienced how bad the Chinese Communist Party was. Okay, they're taking the actual action rather than only speculating what will happen.
Yes.
Okay, after 1997. It's a different kind of mindset right now, okay? It's different from before the 1997 people, okay? Group of people of immigration way, okay? They actually experience how evil the Chinese Communist Party government operate in Hong Kong, step in the Hong Kong political system, okay? So in this immigration way this time, I would believe that a lot of them will not come back, okay? So, and I realize that based on a lot of financial statistics that I have observed, a lot of people are completely sell out their property in Hong Kong. Some of them have 2 property, 3 property. They sell their in Hong Kong entirely rather than keeping one, okay? In the past, in 1997, a lot of people holding a few properties, they still keep one property in future as a backup, okay? If they are gonna come back from Canada to Hong Kong, they still have a place to sleep, to stay in Hong Kong. Now on, so they just make a clear-cut decision, okay? They are not going back. They sell out all their property, okay? They move all their private wealth from Hong Kong to the other countries that they're gonna migrate. So then you can you guys all are financial specialized people, okay? So you can realize that the Hong Kong banking reserve money is deteriorating. Okay, it's
Mm.
deteriorating. Okay,
Mm.
so the central banks of Hong Kong, what we call the monetary authority, okay, are buying back Hong Kong dollars, okay, many times, at least 15 times. Okay, so I'm not sure the packing system between Hong Kong dollar to Hong Kong dollar can still stand for how long. That's one I'm not sure. I leave for you guys to comment. But okay, so I can tell you the real difference, the critical difference, the major difference between this immigration wave totally different from the immigration wave back in 1997. Okay, they had a strong commitment and determination to leave Hong Kong for good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, during the first wave, I was in uni, so there were a lot of people who migrated and came to Australia to study. My friends were telling me how difficult it was. The entire family, they packed into, because they were staying with a relative, they were all packed into a room, how difficult it was, and how to move all the items over to Australia. And many of them, after graduation, they went back to Hong Kong. So what you're saying is that now people are leaving for good. And by this time, this second wave of immigration, my friends they are all my age. We are all half grade, and I wonder whether how many of them are still there, and maybe they have regretted not having left during the 80s and 90s. So okay, the third question I want to ask you is, what do you see Hong Kong? Because Miles was talking about Hong Kong dollar will surely be depreciated, and will surely depreciate, as well as maybe disappear. How do you see Hong Kong in the next 10 years?
Good questions. Okay. I cannot say on behalf of others. I'm not a financial specialist, but I can tell you what I have done so far. I basically exchange all my renminbi to US dollar, Australian dollar, and Canada. Okay. As far as I know, all my fellow colleagues, okay, all my friends, okay, basically they used to operating a factory in China. They used to operating much more bigger size business in China. They have all done the similar transactions. They exchange renminbi, Hong Kong dollars to US dollar. Okay, that means I don't have an overall statistic, okay, on the overall financial market, okay. But my co-fellow have done all the similar things, and I would kind of exportize all the figures. I would say there's a huge amount of money outflow, Hong Kong dollar exchange to US dollar outflow from Hong Kong and China market. Okay, that's what I know. Okay, so that's why I would firmly believe that the Hong Kong dollar may not be stand for a very long time. Okay, okay, they need to pick a right road to
okay.
pack.
Let me what you said, the kickXi is perfect. Let me give you the figure. You want the figure?
Yes.
I just read from the news. Okay, so there were 30 billion US dollars were bought by selling Hong Kong dollars to buy US dollars. Okay, in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So you can see, to balance, okay, to balance that pre-agreed exchange of 7.772, something like that, from Hong Kong into US dollars. So to do that, that means the Hong Kong Reserve, Hong Kong Monetary Administration, the reserve, okay, is now consumed over the last week 335 billion. What Miles Go said, the whole pound is about 400 billion. So that's almost 10% added in. So I think if they don't, by the speed, by the velocity, within 10 weeks, the Hong Kong's reserve will be exhausted. The Hong Kong the Hong Kong Reserve Bank, in other words, like equivalent to their money, okay, the hard US dollars reserve is going to be totally flat out. In the end, I think if the CCPs, okay, CCP is still the nation, these gangsters, if they don't use the Swiss bank's money to help Hong Kong reserve to maintain the balance, okay, that the exchange rate. Then they are violating the pre-agreement with the U.S. government, Federal Reserve. That means anytime either U.S. government can decouple from them, that's it, shut down, or Hong Kong lei under CCP's okay control, Hong Kong bank exchange, Hong Kong dollar will disappear. That's it.
Good. Then you are giving us plenty of hard data and information, so to fill up my gap. Okay, I don't have the actual statistic you have, but I can further affirm your data by sharing my own and my fellow friends' experience. They're actually doing exactly what you said. Okay, okay. So by converting all their money out of China and Hong Kong. Thank you.
ASP. So you got about 10 weeks windows maximum.
Yes.
All right.
kickXi, you have left Hong Kong quite a while ago, haven't you?
The exact times is around 2 to 3 years. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
only years. So you have only left Hong Kong 3 years ago.
I left Hong Kong about 2 to 3 years ago. Yes, correct.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, very recent. Okay, so
Yeah. So that's why my experience sharing with you, I think, is quite updated. Okay.
Yeah.
And reflect the actual reality and situation at the moment. Okay.
Yeah. I actually also have a classmate who is married to a Hong Konger, and when I told him about what Miles Gore said to leave Hong Kong and all this, I'm not sure whether is the case of him not wanting to let people know what is happening, or for whatever reason he just said that some people think to exchange their currency, some people not. So he was still hesitating where to go to. Only I think one reservation is because they have business in Hong Kong, in China. So that is kind of like your wealth is where your heart is. That's what the Bible says. Your wealth is where your heart is, because they have business in China. So they're also hesitating about leaving Hong Kong. But at the end of the day, what Miles Gore said is, if you are dead, all your wealth means nothing. Correct, kickXi?
So what you said is exactly right. Okay. So what you fact is actually reflect the actual reality and the situation of a lot of Hong Kong people are still staying in Hong Kong, are still staying in China, and they're operating business in China. Okay. So, but as far as I know, okay, a lot of Chinese people and Chinese people, they came to realize what the Chinese policy, what we call the zero tolerance policy. They don't allow to have any 1-0 case for the COVID. It's a completely idiot. It's a completely stupid strategy and decision. But they are afraid to speak out. Okay, they are not allowed to speak out. They just making the decision. Okay, behind the scenes, are trying to move everything out of China. So not only Hong Kong people, a lot of Chinese citizens are thinking that exactly the same way the Hong Kong people or we as or as well as we are thinking about that. Okay, so you'll see there's a lot of money outflow, okay, from China and Hong Kong in the next recent period. Okay.
So I asked you to think of what will happen to Hong Kong in the next 10 years. you didn't really answer me, but I will say that it will be a long while before Hong Kong will return to its former glory, even after the CCP has been taken down. Do you think that will be the case?
I certainly believe that the CCP will collapse one day. Okay, but how soon? I don't know. Okay, so but by observation of the international trend right now. Okay, so the CCP and its associated will be collapsing rapidly. Okay, is as far as I expected. Okay.
So if we go by Mao Score's timeline, that will be kind of like 2004, 2005.
Yes.
But I will say, even if with Mao Score aspiration of having Hong Kong and Fujian as a new federated state, I will still think that it will be a while before people's confidence return to want to go back to Hong Kong again. So for now, Singapore is reaping the reward of the downfall of Hong Kong. And I'm Malaysian, and I can tell you, I just recently returned from Malaysia. I can tell you the brainwashing that is around amongst the overseas Chinese ethnics, Malaysian, Chinese Malaysian, Chinese Singaporean, the amount of brainwashing by CCP media is phenomenal. These people, they all side with the CCP. I have a brother who is in his 60s, who is now living in Hong Kong, in China. He's Singaporean, born and bred Singaporean, but has now gone back to China because it's like, China is rising, this and that, even my cousin was just telling me, my cousin sister in Malaysia, 中国崛起了. So this is the power of media. So don't be surprised if there are quite a lot of Chinese ethnic overseas who do not sympathize with the Hong Kongers because of the media.
I agree.
I agree. Across people.
But I think what we see not only what's happening, but you see what is happening now. While Pelosi landed in Taiwan last night and today, last night I think the CCP's PLA, People's Liberation Army, announced no-fly zone surrounding Taiwan, island, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zones like. So the oil, the oil shipment could even have to go around to get into there, and they're going to have live fire guns and real trainings going on. So you never know. No, the CCP is, remember, they have an unrestricted war strategy and the mentality. Anytime they could create the so-called accident. Okay, I mean, the equipment is not that good, and the U.S. could interfere with the missile and the commanding system. When that happened, what happened? They either gonna shoot them back, shoot their own missile, shoot their own commanding system. This can be easily done, called the inducing striking technology. Only U.S., China, and Israel have that technology. Okay, Moscow said many times. So if that happens, you know what happened? I think the CCP's military is going to be held 100% accountable by international, by international media, countries, nations. You know why? Because Pelosi is visiting Taiwan, and you are now at the same time doing those military exercises with live bullets. They never do much live bullets because it costs them too much. Now they do live bullets. So that means they're not well trained. And there could be one just dropped near Pelosi and Tsai Ing-wen meeting hotel, or where the places where they are. They could be accidentally guided by whoever, the Starlink, whatever, who, they could be guided by Russia too. So when that happens, you know what happened? U.S. Army is they have made a preemptive strike strategy. Whenever that first shot happens from CCP's origin, then they're going to finish them in 3 minutes. So from today onwards, who knows? You're right. Maybe next 10 years, that's why kickXi can't answer. Because you cannot, you may say what is, you don't have a clear vision what is going to happen. Okay? Yeah. What you have is too many variables from today. Okay, since Taiwan, as Moscow said, now it's an independent national state. Okay, president of Taiwan is a national state like the U.S. And that's what Pelosi said. We honor each other long-term relationship independently. Building our democracy our rule of law, build our country in the same way. So this is like, hi, we are in the same stage, same status. You are independent nation. Of course, I am in the U.S. superpower. We're together, okay, to stabilize the region's instability. That means Southern China Sea, Chinese military interference, and barbarian and gangsters behavior. Anytime, okay? If that happens, finished. You see, Miles may talk about that tonight again.
Okay, so do you have any relatives in kickXi? Do you have any relatives left in Hong Kong?
Yes, I still have a couple relatives in Hong Kong as well as in China. So, but as per what you said, the medians play a critical part in infiltrating people around the world from CCP. So as I recently read articles about how TikTok can infiltrate infiltrate a lot of American and British and all the people across the global country. Okay, so TikTok have 2 billion subscriber, especially for the young generation. So remember about 1 to 2 years ago when Donald Trump won his first president election and campaign, how TikTok can rule his campaign. So actually TikTok is one of the very lethal weapon of the Chinese Communist Party, and we have to pay attention to how it's operates. And recently there's a news that basically the TikTok US staff, okay, they claim that all TikTok data are being kept in United States and independently operate by the TikTok US company. In fact, it's not. Okay, when TikTok engineer need to access some data, they have to bet for the Chinese TikTok engineer for their data access. Okay, so that's why the U.S. Congress is investigating this matter now, and maybe they have some penalty, some sanctions, or some prosecution to TikTok US. So for this Communist Party, Chinese Communist parties, they are really doing well in their media controls, such as in the case of Hong Kong. Basically, all Hong Kong media are being owned by the Chinese state-owned empires or being owned by the Chinese, by the Hong Kong entrepreneur, which is really close to the CCP. Okay, for example, the South China Morning Post used to be owned by the Malaysian, the Sugar King, Robert Koch. South China Post used to own by Robert Koch, but now the new owner, as you're aware, is Jack Ma. Okay, and the Hong Kong TVB used to be owned by Hong Kong locally. Okay, by the Wan Siu family, but now basically it's 60% owned by the Chinese state-owned enterprise. All the Hong Kong media are being controlled by either the closely related businessman or by the Chinese state-owned enterprise. That's how they control Hong Kong people, brainwashing Hong Kong people. They are doing exactly the same thing in the world, in Taiwan, in Malaysia, in Singapore. So that's why your friends are being brainwashed and claim that China is still a great country with great achievement. I think it's understandable, okay? But how we counteract of this, okay? So it's a question of how we improve our medium system, how to counteract the Chinese propaganda system around the world, okay? It's our major mission. It's our whistleblowing mission, whistleblowing movement mission, how to counteract this Chinese Communist Party's propaganda media, okay?
Exactly.
Okay, it's well said, kickXi. All right, and I think to just reflecting on the question about the control of media worldwide. Okay, you probably found in Hong Kong, the CCP's public company will directly own such as Jack Ma's, company on the Morning Post quite a few years ago. You also find that the CCP is clothed with Wall Street together with all the big fund. What they do is they want to, buy or, become the majority share of just most of the media in the worldwide, the big medias. That's why we've been, we've been censored and we've been shut down, and even now GTV, get influenced and we can't operate it. So this is how severe. Even GETA, they still have the military hack capability going to change our data. I mean, change the data from Miles Guo would have like a billion people for sure watching him. Okay, because each one used to be in GTV. I remember it's about 90 million one morning. When he was doing direct broadcasting, often it's about 8 to 10 or 12 million when the GTV just first started. So later on, you just went small numbers. I mean, we all experience the same. So I think if we're not taking down the CCP, if the international state, okay, like a superpower like US, are not, we're working on all kind of areas. It's not one. So they've been infiltrating into every aspect of life. So the last question is, if we don't take down CCP, do you think a Hong Kong layer like you being escaped from China, either from first time, okay, 97, or a couple of 3 years ago? Do you think that those guys like and your families, and been already in Australia, UK, and other countries after escape from Hong Kong, would you think they're going to be staying safe if we're not going to take down CCP the way it goes? What do you think? What's the answer? kickXi.
So as I mentioned, I still have a few families members in Hong Kong and in China. So their mindset is a bit different from us. Okay, so what we call after the umbrella movement and after the what we call extradition law movement. So basically, Hong Kong are divided into two groups. One group is called what we call blue ribbon, and the other group is called yellow ribbon. Okay, so blue ribbon that means pro China, pro Hong Kong government. The yellow ribbon is pro democracy. Okay, so even though we are from the same family, basically it's my sister. So their mindset is tend to blue ribbon. Okay. For me, of course, I'm a yellow ribbon, and I'm a firm believer of Mr. Mao Kok. Okay, so we still a lot of I think disagreement. Okay, with my family members, because they still firmly believe the government, the Chinese government, are doing the right thing to suppress the Hong Kong democracy movement. But as they are still my family members, we have to respect their standpoint. So, but what I will do is constantly discuss with them, constantly trying to convince them, and constantly giving them the most updated news about how evil the Chinese Communist Party is. And we one day, I wish and I hope, I really hope that we can change his mindset. Okay, at least one day we hope. I hope that I can change his mindset entirely. Okay, but besides that, nothing I can do. If they don't want to leave Hong Kong, so I cannot do anything to relocate them away from Hong Kong. But we have to respect them. We try to protect them whenever there's anything happens. Okay, but as you said, okay, taking down CCP, so it's the goal that we have to do our best and do our utmost to achieve these goals. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope you have they have been protected from the CCP's jabs. Are they taking no jabs, or are they take it, or if they've been jabbed, are they taking any antidotes like artemisinin and IV Vectin, for example?
Actually, they are not a fun night, so they are always behind the scenes. They done nothing. They're still okay in Hong Kong. Okay,
so they have not taken the COVID jab.
From what I know, they don't. Okay, because so we always convince them they shouldn't take it, and because they are already retired, they don't have any financial pressure. They don't have any actual force to push them to get the vaccination. Okay, to get the vaccination. Okay, so that's why they still are safe. Okay, thank you for your concern. Okay,
that's great.
Thank you. Great. Great. I suppose in Hong Kong, I got a lot of Hong Kong friends. I've been Hong Kong probably, if not 100, probably 89 times. Fly and stay over in Hong Kong with friends and mates.
Good. Then you should be in a good position to know how the Hong Kong people feel. Okay.
I feel if you're gonna close to retire, you don't want to go anywhere. You rather you like这个榴莲汤河粉 and all these things are very good. So 汤面. So really, I think it's a matter of get comfortable, attached to the lifestyle for lifetime. So I think we should respect them, leave them alone, but give them plenty of choice and information from what we know in the new federal state of China.
Correct, exactly. So if they already make up their mind, all we can do is constantly in communication with them and give them the real our side of story, give them the most updated well-trained, give them the evil story of the CCP. That's what we can do at the moment. Okay.
Yeah, that's called a whistleblower. Okay, great. Thank you, kickXi. You are really fighter. So hopefully all our audience loved your information and your style and being very me as well. So me and Bindi certainly enjoyed so much. So somehow we're going to invite you to come up again. Okay.
Thank you for helping me to share my experience. Okay, really appreciate for your chance. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay.
Goodbye.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is all our program. Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time.
Take down the CCP.